Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Lance from NerfThis.TV. Today we're having a look at the ParcSlope from TwelveSouth. Now, the reason that I'm going back to looking at a product which is not exactly young is that I have been using these for, I think the grey one I've been using for well over a year, and the black one for about a year already. And they are sort of the unsung heroes of the office because everything gets propped up on them, from iPads to MacBooks to any other Windows laptops, etc., etc. And they're actually extremely useful, but it's not something that you just think about every day. And so I thought I'd just highlight these particular products because they have lasted for quite a while, and apart from a couple of little scratches here and there, they still look almost new. I do prefer the black colored one, obviously, but this only came out later on in their sort of product cycle. This was the first one that they brought out, so I still use these today, and I normally use the grey one for my laptop because it actually brings it at a nice angle, so you can still pretty much sit and type with having the screen a little bit higher. And if you just want to sit down and punch up some scripts or whatever the case is, or do some coding, or ergonomically it's just a lot better for laptop specifically because it sits at a nice angle and you can still get to use your trackpad and use the keyboard, but it's just slightly more elevated, which I find a lot more useful, specifically having the screen just a little bit higher for that viewing angle. The other one I generally use for my iPad when I'm actually sitting and doing sketches or working in Photoshop, or even when I'm working on something like LumaFusion. I like this angle for the iPad. It's just a great angle to have your iPad at, and it's solid, so it doesn't wiggle, it doesn't buckle, you know, as soon as you start pressing your pencil or your fingers or whatever like it doesn't start wobbling all over the place like some of the cheaper products. Speaking of price, these are not exactly cheap. This is, I think they go for $55 at the moment, which is not super expensive. For what you're getting, it's pretty okay. And as I said, you're buying a product which is literally going to last you for a long time, which to me is well worth the 55 euros, simply because I have been using it for well over a year already, both of them. As far as build quality goes, I mean, these things are solid metal. They've got these nice rubbery finishes with ridges in. If you are resting something on there, or they show in their graphics where you have the iPad down below and your pencil at the top there, although that is a 10-inch because the 12-inch takes up the whole amount of space here. But it's nice because it doesn't slip. It's got this nice little ridge in the bottom here that stops your laptop or your iPad or whatever from slipping away from you, and you can feed your cables in through this little hole at the back and sort of keep them discreetly out the way, which is also quite nice. So aesthetically, you know, obviously it'll look better. If you are working on a separate keyboard with your laptop off to one side and a second screen, then this is probably not the type of thing that you'll want, not for a laptop anyway. For that you'll want something a bit higher so that the screen is a lot more elevated, because you don't have to access your touchpad and your keyboard if it's over there and you've got a separate keyboard here and a second monitor. But if you're working directly onto the laptop and you've got your laptop here with maybe your iPad next to it and as a secondary screen, you know, if you're running a Mac or whatever the case is, then this is great. Anyway, I thought I'd just throw this video together and just to highlight some unsung heroes lying around the office here, which, well, not lying around, being used around the office here. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, all those lovely things. Hit the bell icon and buy me a cup of coffee if you feel so inclined. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.